Hi, I'm Yeung. Cold nights and bright stars, we have it all for you this week. This is Our Vancouver. Coming up, one of BC's most famous hiking trails gets a rebuild. And they live in the digital world, but could change how we live in our own. But first, meet a homegrown star whose fame is rocketing across the country.
I have never felt this way. Time is slipping away, and we both know that I can't stay. And time is not on our side, so let's make the most of our last night. I don't wanna kiss goodnight, I just wanna stay here forever.
That's a look at a hit song called Kiss Goodnight. In 2012, it launched the career of Port Coquitlam-born recording artist Tyler Shaw. Now, 10 years later, the singer-songwriter has gone platinum. He's been nominated for a Juno Award and is in the middle of a Canada-wide tour, and he has been kind enough to join us here today. Tyler, so good to have you here.
Thank you.
Okay, when you look back at Kiss Goodnight 10 years ago,
10 years.
feels like you were a baby then. You're still a bit of a baby then. What do you think when you see that video?
Yeah, I do. I definitely am like, who is that guy? That's a long time ago. 10 years, a lot has happened in 10 years, but that's the song that kicked off my career.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful for everyone who continues to listen to it. It's still very much a powerhouse song in my catalog. So, yeah, very thankful for the journey.
It has been a jam still. Okay, so what's life been like for you since 2012? You released a number of albums. You've done so much.
Yeah.
I'm hearing your songs on the radio all the time now.
Yeah, it's been, like I said, it's been a journey. The music industry is no joke, though, right? It's there's a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and they're high. The highs are high and the lows are low. And literal blood, sweat, and tears has gone into this career. But you know, I wouldn't
Tell
want
me
to
about some highs, maybe a couple lows.
Yeah, some highs would be, you know, touring with Selena Gomez, where we first chatted, and having platinum songs and just playing music on this tour, like seeing fans and getting them to sing the songs that they know and love. That's very rewarding. The lows is, you know, self-doubt, and that's a huge one for me, like creative blocks. And just not thinking you're good enough. That's like, it's all up here. It's a mental game as much as it is a creative game, so.
I'm surprised because I feel like you've had so much success. So, you know, the last time we chatted was in 2016. You were opening for Selena Gomez then. And I remember meeting you at the time, and I'm like, oh my God, this guy's so talented. He's so going to go places. It's going to be so great. So that was a big home time show for you.
Yeah.
And you're in the middle of a tour right now.
Yes, yeah.
So what's it been like coming back to Vancouver? Because you don't live in the Lower Mainland
I don't
anymore.
live in the Lower Mainland anymore.
The parents are all here.
My parents are here. Every time I come home, I'm like, why did I leave? But obviously I have my reasons. I was following music, and no, it's beautiful to come back here and do a hometown show. You know, I sold out the show we did in Vancouver, I guess 2 years in a row now, which is great. So I got the hometown love. So I can really feel it, yeah.
Yeah, and so, you know, I feel like social media has a big part to play in a lot of music artists' career, and yours in particular.
Yeah.
You are very active on TikTok.
Yeah, on TikTok, on Instagram, like, I feel like now being an artist in the modern, you know, even 10 years actually, speaking of a time frame, it's changed so much. But now specifically talking about the platform of TikTok, like you can reach so many different people around the world just by posting a 30-second song, which I did with my viral hit that went viral this year, Love You Still.
Yes, okay, tell us about this. I want to know what happened, because it has like...
I don't know. The short answer, I don't know. All I know...
Okay, so it started off, you posted a video.
Yeah, I posted a video, and then it just took off. Like, there's no formula for how things go viral. It's just like if people relate to it, I guess.
And which was the song? Like, take us through the details.
For sure. So I saw this TikTok of someone singing Gail's famous song ABCDFU. I looked at that and I was like, how would it be if I kind of flipped it 180 and turned the lyrics into love instead of hate? Because her original song is like, you know, screw this, screw that, hate you, whatever. And I was like, I don't want to say that. I want to, you know, be romantic about it. So I did that. I went down to my studio and created this version that's all about love and romanticized the words that she had and just flipped them 180. put it up on TikTok, and 24 hours later, it was like millions of likes and millions of views, and people were asking for a full version, so I did that. And like I said, people were just eating it up and posting their own versions, and they were in love with it. They were in love with it. And the cool thing about TikTok too is like, if you have that one song that goes viral, I have 3 albums out, so people were listening to Love You Still, and then they were discovering all this other music of mine, which definitely helps. That's why it's important to be on social media if you're an artist out there trying to get into the game, because the amount of people you can reach is just astronomical.
Yeah, I think you're like 2 million monthly followers on Spotify.
Yeah, something like that,
it's
which
amazing.
is blows my mind. 2 million people around the world listening to my music on a monthly basis.
Okay, and so I noticed in one of your albums, Intuition, there was it felt like a shift in your identity.
Yeah.
You know, the album cover's red. You're wearing, I think it was like a Mandarin collar.
Yep.
Your Chinese name is on there.
Yes.
That was a bit of a journey as well. You
was.
discovering your Chinese roots. Tell me about that.
That's exactly it. Well, going back, like when I grew up in Coquitlam, you know, it was a white neighborhood, you know, and my parents, when I was younger, they got divorced when I was young, and so my dad moved out, and he's from Hong Kong. He's the Asian side of my family. So I didn't really get the full experience, I guess, of that Asian culture and that heritage, because I was always with my mom, and my friends were all white. So I laid into that identity like a lot, and I was like, yeah, like I'm white. Not only that, but like I felt embarrassed almost to be Chinese, which now I understand that's ridiculous. Like I'm very proud of where I come from now, but back then, like I don't know what it was. If it was people, you know, saying things and
your
the
surroundings,
food.
and
Exactly.
that really
it
makes
all
a
kind of
difference, right?
stirs the feeling. So fast forward to I think it was right after I released my first album. I rekindled things with my dad a couple years before that, but we were in a good spot there where he's like, I'm going to Hong Kong, do you want to come? And I said, yeah, you know, I think this would be a good trip. And when we were over there, he showed me where he grew up. He showed me where his grandparents are laid to rest, where he went to school, his friends, like all the stuff that he did as a kid. And me just being there and being with his side of the family, or technically my side of the family, I just didn't really know much about it. I fell in love with this piece of me, and I found this piece of me that I didn't know I had and in me. So it was a real emotional trip for me and really eye-opening. And yeah, talk about self-discovery. Like I was like, this is me, and this is the piece that was missing. I didn't know that was missing. So I came back and immediately was like, I need to do something with this. And that's where I knew I always had a Chinese name, but I was like, let's put it at the like forward facing, and like I don't want to hide anymore. Being like the Chinese side of me. People know that I'm actually people don't even know what I am really. So to get it clear, I am half Chinese, half Polish Ukrainian. So
That's very cool to hear all about that. And you sharing that with your fans is so important to think, you know, speaking out for representation, diversity in that way.
Yeah.
And you performed at the Jade Music Festival. I was there. It was fantastic. Well, all right, final question. What is next for you, Tyler Shaw?
I got to work on a new album.
Cool.
Got to work on new music for 2023, and actually potentially maybe even more Christmas music too.
Okay. In the meantime, we will listen to your new Christmas song that just dropped this Christmas. Yes. I will certainly be doing that.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today, Tyler Shaw. Good luck with
pleasure.
everything.
Thank you.
You're so perfectly fine. I could talk all day, but let me spell it out. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I love you still, and you know I always will. Till the end of time, I won't change my mind. Love you, I'll be here, I will never disappear. Said forever.
Daniel is traveling tonight on a plane, and I can see the red tail lights headed for Granville Island. Hi there, my name is TJ, and this is our Vancouver. Oh, and I can see Daniel waving goodbye.
Time for one of our favorite features when we showcase a number of the photographs sent in by you, our audience. Another super creative shot sent in by Wayne Parsons. A fresh snowfall and a 15-second exposure capture the ghost of a CN train zipping along Kamloops Lake. And Amanda Nelson says she drove right up to a flock of red crossbills on the road just north of Clinton. This is the only one that stuck around for its TV cameo, though. So cute. And finally, this one from Ava Trinzik, taking it along the Fraser River in Pitt Meadows. What an incredible sunset. Send us more. You can email them to bcphotos@cbc.ca. That's bcphotos, all one word, @cbc.ca. They are remote communities, often cut off from energy grids, and most often Indigenous. That's the case for Bella Bella, where for years the town has relied on diesel for heating. The small community now hopes to change that. Take a look.
Surrounded by fjords, signs of change are popping up all over the seaside village of Bella Bella.
These few solar panels have the ability to actually power all of Kansut, all of our wellness center here.
This mother-to-be is proud of the Halsuk First Nation for making climate change action a priority.
Our goal is to have energy sovereignty as a nation, and part of that is the solar project.
Getting the community on board was instrumental in making the big switch and getting the money to make it happen.
Solar panel D. Where we now have successful funding to put solar panels just like here in Kansut onto our school, our community store, and our hall.
We have run aground here.
The transition was sparked by a disaster back in 2016. A barge crashed, then sank, spilling thousands of liters of diesel into pristine ocean waters.
When the Nathan E. Stewart ran aground, it was a huge shock for our community. It brought into the community consciousness just how real the risk is when we are shipping in oil and diesel to heat our community and meet the basic needs of our community, when today that's simply not a risk that we have to take anymore.
So step one for the team, putting an end to fossil fuel delivery by boat.
So we're about 75% converted for all of our homes in Bella Bella from oil to heat pumps.
The nation is also looking into vertical farming and biodiesel for marine vessels.
Some really beautiful things happening already.
Bella Bella is receiving federal funding to transition, but the team says they shouldn't be one of so few.
I know that this is a unique story and shouldn't just be a beautiful, unique story. It should be the standard. It should be the bare minimum for every First Nation, for each community really within Canada, that we're making a difference for our future generations and our relationship to Earth. Pillow like a cloud.
Hope that Bella Bella's green transition will inspire others to follow. Camille Vernet, Radio-Canada, Bella Bella.
Coming up, Science Smart's Johanna Wagstaff explains the cold facts about the risks of working out in extreme conditions.
So at first I attempted to do this whole thing while running. It was a disaster. So let's just say, for those of us who like to exercise outdoors, extreme weather days might not deter the most hardcore of us.
You just figure out what the weather is and out you come.
But the simple question is it safe to be exercising in extreme weather conditions? The answer might not be quite as simple. Let's start with extreme cold. Generally, if you're dressed in the right layers and exposed skin has all been protected, experts say heading outdoors is a good thing. Check the forecast ahead of time, plan your gear, and length of time outdoors accordingly. Wind chill is important. The wind can penetrate your clothes and remove the insulating layer of warm air that surrounds your body. Any exposed skin is vulnerable to frostbite. Getting wet makes you more vulnerable to the cold, and if you get soaked, you might not be able to keep your core body temperature high enough. And then there are times when it's not worth it at all. For extreme sports like cross-country skiing or running, for example, extreme temperatures, we're talking minus 18 degrees Celsius and an extreme wind chill, well then your lungs might be at risk. Exercising in the extreme cold over and over again can lead to hyper-responsive lungs, making you more sensitive to allergens. That's why experts suggest covering your mouth on those days to warm air before it heads to your lungs. How about the other end of the spectrum?
Felt really drained, felt not even sweating anymore because I'm overheated.
Extreme heat is often more deadly, especially when it involves high humidity. That makes it difficult for sweat to evaporate away from your skin and regulate temperatures, putting extra stress on your body. Light exercising on extreme heat days might be okay, but experts recommend monitoring for any early signs of heat stroke or exhaustion and stopping immediately if you do sense any. Drinking lots of water, taking lots of breaks, and did I mention hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. The warmer the temps, the greater the chance for dehydration. And know your own limitations. For those with underlying health conditions, the really young or elderly, it's harder for their bodies to regulate temperatures. So taking activities indoors might be the better bet. But if you've checked the weather, you've got the gear, go get it. And now, you're Science Smart. If you've got a science question on your mind, send me a tweet and try to get it answered.
I'm Nick, and this is our Vancouver.
Thanks, Johanna. You are watching Our Vancouver. I'm Yeung. Well, it's that time of year to start thinking about holiday baking, maybe for me, holiday eating. With so many sweet options to showcase here, we turn to a Vancouver institution for some ideas and tips, and to one of the season's best loved and time-honored traditions. Maj Yee of Goldilocks Bakery is here to show us how she puts together her fabulous gingerbread houses. Oh my goodness, Maj, welcome to the show. These are beautiful. Okay, what do we have here? There's an Eiffel Tower over there?
There's an Eiffel Tower. Thank you, Lien. Yes, I have an Eiffel Tower. This is a custom-made Eiffel Tower for one of Vancouver's restaurants.
Wow,
And
gorgeous.
another custom house for a family.
Okay, so how did you get into gingerbread house making? Because these are so intricate, and it looks like you didn't just start doing these like last year.
No, it's been a long time. I started getting into this about 22 years ago. I was on mat leave with my second son, and one of my girlfriends requested that we build 150 gingerbread houses of this size for the law firm that she used to be with.
Because you're not busy enough while on mat leave.
Exactly.
Okay,
Well, exactly. So I designed one and came up with a design for them that they liked. And it's evolved over the years, and we came out with different sizes. And when my children started going to preschool at that time, I came out with the smallest one around the corner in white.
So cute.
We call it the birdhouse.
Very cute. Okay, but it's really evolved. You've taken it to the next level.
Yes.
You're competing with these gingerbread houses.
I used to compete.
Okay.
It's been a while. I used to compete quite a bit at the Hyatt Regency Gingerbread Lane contest that they have every year, which is back, by the way, and they've resumed it after COVID.
Yep, and this year you're a judge.
This year I'm a judge.
Okay, very cool. So what are you looking for when you're building gingerbread houses, and what are you trying to do with them?
Well, we look at creativity and technical, I guess, ways of how they've used the pipe icing and other decorations, and I guess the overall look of their display.
Okay. Give me an example. Like, what are we talking about? I mean, there's like even this icing they're seeing. There's texture on here.
I personally like a lot of texture. I put color on color. As we see here, even in this house, I have 2 shades of red. What I do is I usually glaze the pieces first, and then once it's super dry and solid, I start stenciling.
Okay.
And then add some of our in-house, like we make a lot of our decorations.
Okay, all right. Well, let's. You brought a whole bunch of different things here. Should we decorate
Yes,
some? What should
I have
we do?
cookies there for you, and I
Okay.
also have this house for
Oh my
you
gosh,
to
and it has
decorate.
my name
And
on
it has
it.
your name.
This is so special.
So you can pick and choose what you'd like to do.
Okay, I cannot bake or do most cooking things, so you're gonna have to show me everything
So
here.
you can pretty much use, this is royal icing, use it like glue. And
okay.
you can choose what you would like to decorate your house with.
Okay, all right. So should I just pick a color?
Pick a color.
Okay, and then the tip is already cut off.
Yes.
And then I just do this, hey?
You either
literally
pipe,
have never
I know.
done this before.
You
This is
either
so
pipe directly or
Okay.
choose a decoration.
All
Let's
right.
say if,
Okay, you're
Take a
gonna
pick.
have to help me, I think.
So
show me
take
what
a
you would
pick.
do.
take, what color scheme would you
color.
like? Christmas?
Yeah, Christmas.
Okay,
is
so
great.
let's start with, this is a red and green and white candy corn. Sometimes you can just put it directly here
Okay.
and stick it
Oh,
anywhere
and
you
then
like.
glue it on.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can
All right.
put shapes.
Can I do
Of
this?
course. And make a pattern and
Okay. And so all of the stuff, everything is edible, right?
Everything's edible.
And what makes...
Except the board.
Except, okay, yes. So what makes good gingerbread?
Flavor, good ingredients, butter. But for vegans, they'll use. I know, I love butter. Flour will hold the dough together. Of course, molasses, good kind of molasses.
And you've got some dough here with you.
I have dough here.
Yeah.
And just so you can feel and see what the texture is like, and to make it really smooth,
yeah,
we add a tiny bit of water, so you get this perfectly smooth dough.
Yeah, it's very smooth.
Yes.
Yeah. And
less baking soda.
Okay.
So you don't get the puffiness on the dough, so everything's even.
Right, nice and flat. Like these look so perfectly technically
and
done.
And these are all hand rolled. They're not machine rolled or baked.
And how long does it take you to make one of these?
Depending on the intricacy of the design, like this one, this can take at least a couple hours for one house.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow, a couple hours to do one. Okay, so should we continue with this guy here? Okay.
And what else would you like? Do you want to
Maybe these
continue?
snowflakes, these are so cute. Like, where would you put this?
You can put it in front if you'd like,
Oh,
above your
maybe just,
name
like,
or
above
below.
my name. Oh, I can already see. This is how.
Oh, that's why we've got several.
And these are candy?
These ones are made of fondant.
Oh, fondant. Okay. This just shows you how little
just squeeze.
Okay, I can't
Do you want
even
this
get
one?
the icing out.
I know, they're little elbow grace.
Okay, so when does this competition begin?
So the displays or Hyatt will have they have 18 gingerbread houses, and they will be on display from December 2nd to the 29th. And it's open to the public, free admission.
Cool.
You can vote for your favorite gingerbread house. And if you'd like, please, to donate for their charity, which is Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Oh, wonderful. How intricate do these gingerbread houses get?
Some can be, I remember our displays were 4 feet by 3 feet by 4 feet.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, some are huge.
They're like mini, almost like animals could almost live in them. Those are huge.
Doll houses, right?
Doll houses, incredible. Okay, well, let's get some, should we get some?
Should we get some more?
Okay.
And what would you like? What else would you like there?
Oh. How do you get the sprinkles on top of some of these houses?
For this one, you would have to put a lot of icing and then just sprinkle.
And just sprinkle on. Should we try? It's probably going to be messy, but
It'll be messy. You're into it?
Into
Which type of sprinkles would you like?
Well, let's do this one because it's so colorful.
And where would you like?
Should we put it on the roof? That's probably easiest.
On this side?
Yeah.
I'll just make a pattern.
Okay.
It's a tree, and then you can sprinkle
so
away.
So even your design, your icing is
sprinkle
so
away.
And here we go.
And
I'm gonna try this.
Or you can pick some up.
Oh,
I know,
should
right?
I just mush it on?
Yeah,
here?
you can just mush it on.
Or
we're making a mess, but that's okay. That's what makes it fun.
I'm so sorry to the crew afterwards, but this is going to be great.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I've
already made a mess. I'm going to eat some of this icing.
Icing. Sugar.
It's delicious. This is so good. Okay. All right, so where can people actually buy some of these gingerbread houses?
So we have 2 locations. In Vancouver is at 2833 Main Street, and the other one's in South Burnaby on North Fraser Way.
Okay.
Anybody can give us a call at 604-736-7744 or email at goldilocks.yvr@gmail.com.
Okay, you guys are a bakery, but I know you also do wonderful Filipino food there too.
Yes, we do.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Maj. It's been wonderful to introduce us to all of these beautiful creations that you have. Have a wonderful holiday season.
Thank you, Lien.
Lately, I just feel like I'm the greatest. Feel like I just won $100 grand out in Vegas. Made a big name, now the big name's nameless. I carried all the weight to see how far that I could take it.
If you want to go see some live music, Surrey's very own rapper Mercules plays the Commodore Ballroom December 9th.
Welcome to the fight.
And Juno Award-winning Vancouver-based alt-rockers Dear Rouge play the Vogue Theatre on December 10th.
Hey, I'm Grant Lawrence with something a little different for you this week. Did you know, trivia fans, that Saturday, October 1st, 2022 is the 50th anniversary of the premiere episode of one of the most iconic and long-running TV shows in Canadian history? Oh, that theme and those images of West Coast Canadian living still churns me back to my childhood. Yes, the Beachcombers is turning 50, first airing on October 1st, 1972, set in Gibsons, BC. The salty 30-minute dramedy ran for 19 years. That's over 350 episodes from 72 to 90. It was shown in over 40 countries worldwide, and the show has had a lasting impact on Canadian culture and music ever since. Yeah, there's just a few of the Canadian bands that took influence from the Beachcombers TV show over the years. Now, one of the most groundbreaking elements of the show was casting First Nations as equals, partners, and stars of the Beachcombers. One of those leads, Pat John from the local Seashell First Nation, who famously played Jesse Jim with grace, kindness, and humor for decades, died earlier this year.
You're a lucky man, my friend. You got a nice family.
We're all family, Nick. Don't you forget it.
And even I have a personal Beachcombers story that helped shape my life. Back when I was in grade 2, I came here to the CBC for a field trip, and our class met none other than Beachcombers star Jackson Davies in the lobby. He said, "Hey, does anybody know who I am?" And I raised my hand and I shouted, "You're Constable from the Beachcombers." And he replied, "You're right, kid. You might just have a future at this place." And guess what? I just celebrated my 25th year working here at the CBC. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's none other than Jackson Davies from the Beachcombers.
You know, I remember like it was yesterday, this little fat kid with the Edmonton Oilers hockey jersey on, waving at me. It was,
I was a skinny kid with glasses and a Canucks jersey.
No, I was pointing at the guy in the Oiler jersey, the kid in the Oiler jersey.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you all the same, Jackson Davies, legend of Canadian television.
Sorry. Is that legal?
I got it off the internet.
Yeah.
Be sure to watch classic episodes of the Beachcombers. You can find them on YouTube or the Friends of the Beachcombers Facebook group. I'm Grant Lawrence.
I'm Jackson Davies.
And we'll check in with you again soon.
Coming up, a world-famous BC trail gets a rebuild after last year's extreme flooding. Welcome back to Our Vancouver. I'm Leanne Yeung. We now take you to the world-famous Berg Lake Trail in Mount Robson Provincial Park. It was damaged by extreme flooding last year, but now it's being rebuilt.
So we are just heading up now to get in a helicopter to fly up to the Berg Lake Trail, and that's usually something that you would hike in and do and camp for a couple days. But we're flying today because the trail's been closed for well over a year.
It will likely be years before people can see the trail that makes Mount Robson a world-class hiking destination. It's been shut down since a flood in 2021 ripped out entire sections of the path. Park manager Elliot Ingalls knows this area and what happened better than anyone.
So we are basically on the shores of Berg Lake. We're kind of standing in the middle of paradise, I guess. It's kind of one of the most beautiful places, I think, in the world.
Well, now you get a full view of Mount Robson, the highest peak in the Rockies, nearly 13,000 feet high. The tumbling glacier takes form and in a furrowing of crevasses tumbles into Berg Lake. It's like this.
Well, you go across something like this, if the weather switched on you and you got a rainstorm, that'd be gone.
That'd be gone. It sure could.
Half a century later, that prediction came true. It's hard to believe anything could shake Mount Robson's sheer, overwhelming mass. But a few days of extreme heat and floodwater from melting glaciers tore it apart.
We're standing right in the creek. This creek blew out and took out a major piece of infrastructure. Like, there's some old wood over there. Like, that's not from this bridge. There's just debris everywhere through here. When we were up here for those few days, it was about 37 degrees at this elevation, which was just incredibly, incredibly hot for this area. And we were watching the glaciers. It looked like they were sweating. You could see water, visibly seeing water, like pooling off of the glacier. They have a finite lifespan, and we're watching them recede in front of us. And last year especially, the volume of water combined with the hot weather created this major event. And yeah, this area was underwater. This bridge was underwater. It was like nothing I've ever seen in my lifetime working in parks.
The full scale of the damage didn't really become real until we traveled a few kilometers south into a valley near some of the trail's most recognizable waterfalls. It's the place Ingalls remembers some of the worst 48 hours of his career.
How vivid are your memories of those days?
I started up the trail at about 4:30 in the morning, and as soon as I got to the first bridge, I was just like, okay, this is it. 20 tons of rocks covering a bridge that had sat there for 20, 30 years, the river coming up 30 feet. This is unbelievable. This is nature's as much damage as you could see along this trail. This site, Whitehorn, is where we mobilized the helicopter and search and rescue, loading about 30 hikers into the helicopter and flying them down.
Oh my God.
I couldn't believe it. When I got called on the radio that morning, we knew it was going to be bad, but we didn't think it was going to be that bad.
Somehow, everyone made it off the mountain safely, but the trail was in bad shape.
If you had to, compare this area to the other parts of the trail that flooded, where did this rank in terms of severity of damage?
So while the flooding was happening, this water would have been well over the top of where we are right now. And now you can see it's kind of dug a deep channel along the edge of where the trail used to be. To me, it's so unbelievable, and it really speaks to the event and how unbelievable nature can be.
This year, crews started repairs with new bridges around Kinney Lake, the lower third of the trail. The work will progress to bigger projects like reinforcing riverbanks and elevating or rerouting trail sections that were wrecked. The work is complicated and time-consuming, to say the least, but it's critical.
Comfortable, a nice height. Excellent for having tons of stuff on. I could see families playing cards on there. That is a nice spot. BC Parks knows how vital this is to the community. It's the second oldest park in British Columbia. This trail has had an incredibly long history of people recreating here, and it's just a part of the history of the park. And people will look back on this in another 100 years and say, remember when that happened? Hopefully it's an eye-opener for future generations to look at how we recreate and how we do conservation projects in parks, and it's important. It's a story to tell.
Rihanna Schmunk, CBC News, Mount Robson.
Coming up, how they work and why you might want to own one. The world of non-fungible tokens.
I'm Beck. I'm Cam, and this is our Vancouver.
Welcome back to Our Vancouver. I'm Yeung. Maybe you've heard about them. They're called NFTs, or non-fungible tokens. They're unique assets that exist only in the digital world. Here's everything you need to know about NFTs.
If I were an outsider and see all of this, I would think people are crazy.
I really think that NFT is a whole new type of tool.
A new medium where you can express yourself and like coders can express themselves.
It's like a new paintbrush, and there are people who will see it in a native way of like, hey, NFTs have these interesting properties, and I could paint a whole new picture that was impossible before.
An NFT stands for a non-fungible token. NFTs represent digital ownership, right? This is a brand new concept that most people have never ever experienced before.
A non-fungible token is just proof of ownership and authenticity. At its core, it's ownership on the internet. But sometimes people don't really understand that, like, why do I need to own something on the internet when I can just have the image or the picture? So like, I try to explain it as like, a digital asset that's like permanently written on the blockchain. But that in and of itself could have some lingo that people don't really understand.
What is a blockchain? It's just a new kind of computer. It's this previously impossible idea of a computer that no one actually controls. And yes, there are individual computers that are running that network, but if those people shut down their computers, the network will run on other people's computers because of the replication.
If you create your art and you NFT it, we know who owns it. You own it, and we can see all the transactions that are happening as well too. People can steal your images, your posts, anything that you put on the internet, right? But in Web3, it leaves a nice little like trail of like transactions on the blockchain, and it's permanent and it's immutable. Like, people cannot modify it.
So the way you can think about it is that if I have a dollar bill and you have a dollar bill, those dollar bills are fungible, right? It doesn't matter which dollar bill I have. But now if I take one of the dollar bills and I sign my name on the dollar bill, that dollar bill now is marked, right? This dollar bill is now unique. So that's what non-fungible means. What you're able to do with non-fungible tokens online is you're able to digitize assets and prove ownership of any sort of digital piece or digital information.
It's a digital way to verify that information. It's easy for us to make sure that like scarcity and all the value of a very specific item is present and it's like public for everybody to see.
This whole space is about flipping the pyramid from large corporations, tech companies who control your data and control all that type of information, to the little guys who are the creators and typically are the bottom of the pyramid, and it's struggling for them to get a following on Instagram or make a living doing what they love doing. Right now, the whole rage is PFPs, or profile picture projects. And PFPs are essentially avatars that you would have in your social media profile. And they typically release about 10,000 of them as a collection or a set.
What really got me excited about NFTs and Web3 in general was some of the work we were doing at Shape. We were really looking at how do we turn some of these JPEGs into 3D elements and really build off of some of the technology that we were building in more of the VR, AR space with brands.
When you look inside the NFT contract, it actually has the instructions for how to create that NFT. For example, orange shirt, sunglasses, fedora hat, that could be currently a 2D gutter cat. But if you have the right type of game engine, the right type of environment, that engine can actually look at those instructions and goes, okay, I get it, orange shirt, sunglasses, fedora hat, turn it into a 3D avatar. And sort of the sense that these tokens are actually the instruction manual for the next chapter of the internet.
It's funny because I think that the hype is deserved, but it's a little premature. And the best analogy I can think of is the dot-com boom and bust, where in 1998, virtually every company was adding .com to their name because it would boost their stock price.
There's a lot of people seeing this space and they're like, hey, it's all about the money and all that. I don't think that's the right way to go down. The right way to go down is thinking about the networks. How do we change the relationships between people? How do we enable more people who are underserved? And if you come from that standpoint, then NFTs and DAOs are actually tools for you to make that change.
I think NFTs will become this ubiquitous thing that everybody has. Everybody owns digital assets.
As the creator economy kind of goes online, these are the places where these items will be consumed, right? And so it creates its own sort of like digital economy in itself.
The NFT is not only like for digital artists, and I think we're gonna see like a window cleaning service that's gonna come and like you're gonna subscribe to their NFTs and you're gonna buy their NFTs, and once you own this NFT, people are gonna come clean your windows.
Apes only appeal to so many people, sports only appeal to so many people, and I think that as time goes on, everyone's going to have a way that they can interact with this technology that is meaningful to them.
I'm Wyatt, and this is our Vancouver.
At the end of this program, we like to tip our hats to our talented photojournalists on staff here at CBC Vancouver. They bring us images in their artful ways to give depth and deep character to the stories we cover. Here's a sampling from what they saw this past week. And that is all for our Vancouver this week. Thanks for joining us. Bye for now.